The announcements. Yeah, I know you hate that, but bam. Editor had some problems, so everything's being delayed a week or two until she gets finished with this stuff. So 48 power the not the oh god the 48 hours to store chocolate success will be delayed, but it's done. Just waiting on that. Once it's done, those of you who get the digital copy will get it in your email box, and then I will do the other parts of the webinar. For those of you who want to buy in, you still can. The link's below. If that's not your cup of tea, got something else for you. The Hustler Mindset Project. Check out the video. And I'm just excited about this project. I'm just excited. Good stuff's going on right there. It's 25 bucks a month. And essentially, I'm going to teach you how to think more successfully. That's where it all starts. How you think. That's the deal. And now to the video. Good afternoon, folks. This is going to be a burner today. The title of this video, the tale of two storage auction buyers. Not one, but two. And one you know. If you don't know, I had several different services and I've kind of boiled things down and I've gotten rid of certain things. Well, one of the services I used to have, is no longer available, was a coaching service. And I'm finishing up with the last group because I'm doing more stuff with the Hustler Mindset Project. But just got off the phone with one of my students who has been in the storage auction business 3 months. 3, maybe 4. Didn't really know a lot, but she knew enough to go online and research, and she came across one of my coaching packages and just pretty much signed up. Saw some videos and signed up. Well, I got off the phone with her, and I'm not going to tell you where she is because I never tell where my peeps are. So, essentially, someone that's been in the business 3 months, bought my course, bought 2 units, got them cheap, really cheap, had to rent one because it was so big, but we estimate on the low side, I'll tell you, total outlay was 120 bucks, 2 units, rent and everything. Low side 1,200 bucks, high side 3 grand. 2 units, 3 months in the business. So we're talking about $2,000, $3,000 profit. Does it full time? Full disclosure, does it full time. It's not a part time. It doesn't have anything else going on. Now, bought a few units, but there was a few tweaks I made in her storage auction business. Now let's talk about another one, the one you know. His name's Robert. He has a YouTube channel. I'll put the link below. Who spent 12 months in the business. Started with $1,000, ended up with 800 bucks. So he had a net loss of $200 plus gas, rent, whatever else he spent. So it was much larger than that over the course of a year. And what is the tale of these two storage auction buyers? One knew that she didn't know what was going on with the storage auction business, and the other one thought he could figure it out. That was the difference. Am I gloating? No. I'm giving you information because I used to be just like that. I'm smart enough, I can figure it out. It'll just take a little time. If he figured it out, I can too. One day, I realized I was stupid. And at that point, I realized that I was functionally ignorant. Not ignorant, ignorant. And when I realized that, and I started saying, ooh, I don't want to be functionally ignorant no more, I started investing in books, courses, tapes, CDs, anything that I can get my chubby little paws on that will help me cut the learning curve. Since I started doing that, I've made more money than I've ever made in my life before, when I was functionally ignorant and I could figure it all out myself. So, hey Robert, if you're still kind of puttering around, I got some books on Amazon that will help you out tremendously if you want to give it another shot. But the reality is, if there's something out there that can help you, and I'm not talking about my stuff. You can read. There's a whole universe of stuff out there to help you improve your business. I've said on this channel several times, get yourself a subscription to Inc. magazine. Get yourself a subscription to Fast Company. Read business blogs. Go places. Talk to people. Now, I'm about to say something that is going to be very, very controversial. What you're going to learn in storage auction forums is going to take you that far. And the reason is, it's the blind following the blind following the blind. You'll have a few people who have a little rep, because for some reason I got like an email alert and I found this old post about a guy who found a safe, and it was a good lick. It was a good lick. And I read through the whole thing because, I'm an information junkie. And I got to the end, and in 8 years and 300 some units, that was the best unit he ever got. And I was like, really? Then I thought about it. I bought 10 times more units than this person did in less time. So the more units you buy, clearly the luckier you're going to become. But what I saw between the lines was, newbies, this ain't going to happen to you. Newbies, this is highly atypical. Newbies. And, I read that before I had the conversation with my student. And I'm just sitting there like, wow. There are many people who are setting themselves up for failure because they refuse to believe something good can happen, because it is easier to be a pessimist than an optimist, because if you put your hopes and wishes and dreams to something and it doesn't happen, you're crushed. You're just a weak little bitch. If you can't have enough courage to fucking dream, it may fail. It may go bad. You may be hurt. But if your protection mechanism is to reduce your expectations, to keep yourself tight, to minimize exposure, you're never, ever going to realize true greatness in your chosen preoccupation. It's not going to happen because you're a scared little bitch. You may have some success, but I did this video because I'm sitting there and I'm talking and I'm just like excited, because another thing I got from this conversation, the tide has changed. Sure, there's going to be peaks and valleys with the storage auction shows, but America is like, that's too much hard work for me. So they're not going out there like they were. And see, this information is part of a larger packet of information that I have received recently. I've had a lot of people that in my network that have been getting units cheap and been pulling out stuff like the video with the gold coin that came out of a unit. The video, on my blog with the gun, that picture of that gun, that came out of a unit. This stuff is happening. I want you to really realize something. From 2001 to 2009, when I was in the business, the economy was better. There was a period of time in there when the economy just went shoom. 9/11, things came really bad. Stock market melted down. But then real estate, and we just went on up. For a period of time, things were pretty good. That's when I got the vast majority of my units, when the economy was good. And that's when I got guns, gold, all kinds of wonderful treasures out of storage units, when the economy was good. The economy is not good. Some other things that happen. They've changed the laws in many places. They make it easier for them to sell the units. I thought the converse was going to happen. Public backlash, non-existent, because I thought people would be like, oh no, you bad people, you're stealing this, you're getting the storage units, you're just scum on the earth. I get a comment like that here and there, but nothing like what I thought was going to happen. So for those of you who are not scared little bitches, and let me quantify that statement. Not being a scared little bitch doesn't mean you're not going to lose. I'm not going to lie to you like that. There's times you are going to lose. There are times you will lose money. But it's going to make you a better person and a better business person, because what you're doing, as Dwayne Butler says, Castle on Addicts, check out his channel, you're buying your education. All this, I'm going to get it for free. I'm going to think my way to success and not do anything, you're fooling yourself. It's a fallacy and it's not going to happen. If you have no skin in the game, you're not going to win. And give you an example. If you were watching Philadelphia play the Ravens, and I watched the whole game, you had this foreboding sense that Philly was going to get their ass kicked. Picks. But you know what? I saw something, and there was an interview with Michael Vick before the game, and they were talking about, Andy Reid. Andy Reid's son has passed. Michael Vick was close to his son, and the interviewer asked him a question, and Mike got very emotional. And I was just like, they're going to win. Because, see, when Mike got emotional, he's invested at a deeper level. You got to understand that. In the pregame interview, they were saying, he's putting too much on his shoulders. He's going to make more mistakes. There are going to be more picks. The guy was 100% correct because Mike did exactly what he said because Michael Vick has taken responsibility. He's put the burden on he's accepted the role. Okay? Get that. If you remember the Matrix, and he went to the Oracle, and she said, you ain't the one. At that point, Neo had not made the decision to be the one. When he did, that's when he became the one. Michael Vick, like him, hate him, whatever, I don't care. There's another story here, and if you're too ignorant to look at the story versus you want to get wrapped up in what he used to do, he became the man on the white horse. He became an emotional focal point. His team believed in him, okay? That game was brutal. The refs had no control. I swear, it's like every time I turn around, there was going to be like a fist fight breaking out. But the thing is, this game was emotionally charged. They were playing football to be playing football. And it was one of the best games I've seen on an emotional level in a long time. Because they were playing to win. It wasn't about the contracts. It wasn't about the money. It was about being the best on the field that day and winning. And the Philadelphia Eagles, who were hurting, didn't have certain guys, they believed in the philosophy, they believed in Vic, and they won. How in the hell do you have 6 picks, 7 picks in 2 games and win? Because you believe. Now, understand, they can't keep doing that, and that's not going to happen. But they faced one of the toughest defenses they're going to face all year long. I think probably the toughest defense right now is San Francisco because, oh my God, they are ridiculous. They just make you look crazy. But Detroit Lions handled them better than the Green Bay. Much better. But the whole point I'm saying to you, and that's one of the big themes of the hustler mindset right now, is be careful what you believe in. If you believe you're going to be mediocre, you will be mediocre. If you believe that you're going to lose, you're going to lose. If you believe you're going to win, you're going to win. Sometimes it's just that simple. And that's the reason this is the tale of 2 storage auction buyers. Because talking to my student, who has somewhat of a carefree gypsy type attitude, she's just like, hey, I'm going to just do. And the thing is, she listened to my advice to the letter. She didn't like, well, I'm going to do this. No, she's like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it and do it. And I asked her a question. And I was like, if I hadn't given you that advice on those particular units, would you have bought those units or not? And she said no. Didn't even hesitate. So for a lot of you out there, because I figured it out and you think that you're going to figure it out, some of you will, but most of you won't. That's the fact. Because you're not invested in the business to a deep emotional level. One of the reasons that I have all these stories from storage units, Craigslist, I was heavily emotionally invested in the business. It was not a casual preoccupation for me. It was my freaking life. 24/7, 365. I lived, I breathed, I absorbed storage auctions. That's why I was successful. You're not bringing that type of commitment and emotional investment to the game, which is the reason you're yielding the results you're yielding. Because when you bring that type of emotional investment, it leads you to educate yourself. You have to say, I don't know everything. I need help. And you start to look for it. But when you're like, well, if this doesn't work out, I got my job to lay back on. That's what's going to happen. because I've had people who've taken my courses who didn't have a job, who became more successful than people who had jobs and were going out. And also, to be honest with you, a person who's doing it full time has got a hell of a leg up on you, because there's opportunities that's going to happen Monday through Friday that you can't get a hold of, or during that particular day that you take off, they may not be happening, because there were so many things I saw being full time that you're just not going to get full part time. It's not going to happen. Now let's talk about making full time income from storage auction business. Not only is it possible, I did it. I know people who do it, and several new people will do it, because many people are getting out the game. They're getting out the game. They're doing a robber. That's going to be the new thing. It's called a robber. You get in, you don't educate yourself, you don't create multiple sales channels, you don't pay attention to good advice, you just kind of do what you want to do, and you get those kind of results. Because I had something in most of my professional life that many people don't. I had mentors. I had people who were smarter than me. If you're the smartest one in your household, your growth will be limited. If you need to go out and find someone smarter than you to raise your game, because it's not going to happen. And I see it all the time. There are people, someone that put a comment, it's like, I'm not going to pay that for a book. Pretty much, your information ain't worth that to me. And you know what? I'll figure it out. Well, you figure it out, and I'll just continue to get up and walk across the living room and around the corner into my office every day and not deal with traffic. Because I knew at one point I couldn't figure it out, and that got me to the position I'm in today. Just saying. With that, if you want to really, really change the way you think, because the hustler mindset, totally different ball game than the storage auction things, because what we're doing there is getting this together. Because I wasn't really successful until I got this thing together, this organic computer. Because until you take control of that, it's going to be very hard for you to realize success on a personal level unless you just blessed beyond belief. It's going to be very hard, because when I got my mind together, my world came together. And that's the central theme of the Hustler Mindset Project. Because it's not about, because I got an email, it's like, you're hustling people? I'm like, no, that's just a name. Clearly, you have not watched one Hustler Mindset video, because none of them, in any shape, fashion, or form, go anywhere near hustling anybody out of anything. The core is personal responsibility, education, and get your ass out there and make it happen. But, once again, someone did a Robert. All right, this is Glendon, and I will catch you in the next video.